Thank you again for joining us for the Diaspora this week here on the NTA. My name is Makut Simon Macham. Welcome. Now this week we continue our discovery of Nigerians living and working in Mauritania as we bring you more faces you did not see last time on the program. Now this week we have so many other Nigerians that we spoke with during the 31st African Union Summit that took place in Nouakchott, Mauritania. Among the people you get to meet this week is a couple that have been living and working in Mauritania and indeed run an NGO. We also have one Nigerian that runs an educational institution in that country. Come along as we give you Nigerians in Mauritania. When you came to this country and what brought you to this country?
Okay, I came into this country in 2000. I left Nigeria in order to know other people's culture and know how they are living. It does not mean that I left my country, I don't have anything to do. I'm already doing a good job in my country, but I want to change the environment to know other people's culture.
Okay, so what are you doing here right now?
Right now, we have a school we funded in this country. When we come, we try to see what we can do to help the government, the country. So, God help us. We started from kindergarten school. It's not easy to run a school in a country, in the sense that every country has their law. So we must abide on that law. So it's forbidden for a foreigner to have an authorization to run a school, except you pass through a citizen. So we have to, it's difficult for me to get the authorization. Then I have to study the country, study the people. Who can help? Who can help to actualize this vision? Because we see that the level of education here is too low, and some children are on the street without going to school. So we have to do something to help the government and help the people. So that's why we decided to look for who will give us who will help us to get the authorization. So by God's grace, somebody volunteered to help us, and at the end, by God's grace, we get the authorization, and the school was established. And we're running. By God's grace, we start from kindergarten. From kindergarten, we are now in primary. So due to the finance, we cannot continue to college because we have already have two years that my people have taken common interest exam, and they did very, very well. But we cannot continue college because we are handicapped in finance. So that's why we stay in level of primary school now. So we are...
How do you compare education here and in Nigeria?
Oh, it's far, far, far better in Nigeria than here. We cannot compare the education in Nigeria and here. It's far better. The problem here is that they have mentality of only Arabism. When the Arabism child study Arabism, when he grow up, he finds it difficult to communicate with other people that have been enlightened in other language and other education system. So now, as they started learning English, learning French, we see now that's why begin to enlighten in education. So I believe for sometimes they will grow up and meet Nigeria. Okay. I know Nigeria is far, far better than here.
Okay. Yeah, we are all from Akwa Ibom State.
Oh, Akwa Ibom.
Yeah, but different local government. They're the same states.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so tell me, let me ask Madam, because men don't remember.
I know things.
When did you come to this place, and what brought you guys here?
I actually came in 2010 September, and he married me and brought me here. He was living here from 2006 before I joined him here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it easy coming here? Did you like it when you...
I did not like it one bit because it was like the opposite of where I'm coming from. There was this cultural shock. And I told him, in 3 months, I'm going back to Nigeria. But when I came in and I saw the need and so many things I needed to do here, I decided to stay back. Yeah.
So, what occupied you here apart from your husband? And what is the thing you're doing here?
I'm a preschool class teacher, but at the same time, I have a registered foundation that reaches out to the people of Mauritania and even foreigners, children and adults. We train in computer. He is an IT. We train in computer studies, and then we also have private English classes. I reach out to the children through health programs. Sometimes we do community service, seminars, and by God's grace, we've been having some support from the Lutheran World Vision, and they've been supporting us, giving us writing materials for the children. So I teach them, I give them seminars on proper education and how to use these materials, and then I distribute them. And we also have a running English center, like I said, and a computer center, which we give freely to the people of Mauritania, and they, at the end of the day, they go back with their certificates. Yeah.
Okay, sir, you have been here. What brought you here before you brought your wife?
Well, I actually wanted a change. I mean, from Nigeria, what we've been used to, I wanted a change. So I thought about going somewhere far from home so I can, reestablish myself. So that's why I came in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you find? What trapped you here? What attracted you here?
Yeah, actually, Mauritania is not as developed as Nigeria, but I just love the quietness. It was peaceful and quiet. Unlike I was born in Lagos, the hustling and bustling in Lagos. So I just love the quietness, so I decided to stay. Yeah, and well, it was nice. Yeah.
Okay. So are you enjoying your stay here? Are there challenges that you like to tell us?
Of course, just like any other country, even in America, there are challenges. There are challenges, but we find a way to overcome the challenges. Yeah, that's it.
Is there any form of discrimination against Nigerians in particular here? If so, what would that be?
Form of discrimination. Well, of course, when they say Nigeria, everything is different because they think, Nigerians, they're from oil company, and sometimes they ask you, why are you here? Nigeria is big. I mean, it's oil company. Why are you here? We say, well, it's not about it's about what you can give. There's a need here, and when you satisfy a need, you feel accomplished as well. So that's what is keeping us here, actually.
So, Madam, how long are you going to be in Mauritania? Do you hope to go back to Nigeria one day?
Yeah, I hope to go back because, I'm doing a lot of trainings. I really want to go back and establish some things in Nigeria. But right now, I'm not ready to go back because I'm still improving myself in several areas. Just as the people here, especially children, I really reach out to children. They need help. I believe I can also do the same to my own country. So someday I want to go back and put in what I have learned over the years and also reach out to the children over there.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
I've been here probably let's say 17 years ago. So, and we are managing and we support the country as
okay. So what do you do?
So I'm a businessman.
Okay.
So I bring goods from Nigeria. So I sold it here in Mauritania. So I'm here with my family, my wife and my children. So
there's no embassy here. So is the embassy in Senegal helping you?
So when they are trying their best, because long time ago we don't have the embassy, but now since the new one that came is with us, and they used to come time to time to visit us.
We bring ourselves together as one. So because of that, life is suitable for us.
In Nigeria, there are some issues. Okay, you are Hausa, Igbo, Edo, Calabar, whatever. Do you have those kind of things here?
Here in Nouakchott, we don't have such a thing. Because all Nigeria, we bring ourselves together. We are one. There is no Hausa or Igbo or Yoruba. We do everything together. If there is any problem, we call ourselves together to render help to each other.
I came here since 1990. Been here since 1990. So I was on my journey to Europe before I stranded here as normal people that choose to travel by road. But we give glory to Almighty God that today we are here, and we thank God for giving us the opportunity to have this very thing to happen here.
So what do you do here? So you didn't go back home when your journey you did not complete to Europe. You didn't go back home. What are you doing here?
Yeah, well, I used to go home once in a while. But what I'm really doing here is I'm an estate agent. I used to help people to buy land and resell it, or some people are looking for houses where they are going to sell an apartment. So that is my job.
Now here again is the Nigerian ambassador to Senegal and Mauritania, who we spoke with, and he said so many things about Nigerians living in that country. Here is the concluding part of our interview with him. You also cover Senegal. I mean, you are based in Senegal. No. So, what is the relations between Nigeria and Senegal?
Yeah, you know, Senegal is a bigger country than Mauritania, and it used to be the capital. It hosts the capital of the communes. It was the first francophone capital in West Africa, and at Saint Louis. And Dakar is a big city and a lot of highly cosmopolitan, and there are a lot of Nigerians, a lot of West Africans. There's a lot of business activities going on, and Nigerians in their droves live in Senegal, and the Senegalese people are hospitable, highly industrious, and Nigerians, you know, are also industrious, and they have found some commonalities where they relate effectively amongst themselves, and they have also have records of intermarriages, and they are living harmoniously and carrying out their normal trading activities. Most of the trading activities at the local level involves, you know, pomo, that's the hides and skins of cows, and delicacies in Nigeria. And since most of the people in West Africa, except some few countries, they don't use the skin, and they have it in abundance here. So a lot of Nigerians come, buy it, prepare it, load it onto trucks and takes it to Nigeria, and they sell. It's quite an interesting business. They make quite a lot of money. They also buy a lot of fish here and dry it up and send it to Nigeria, while they use a lot of Nigerian fabrics, Senegalese fabrics in Nigeria. From the other end also, they buy things that Senegalese need, mostly products that are Anglophone made.
That's the much we can take on Nigerians living and working in Mauritania. Now, let's still stay with the issue of migration, particularly illegal migration. You recall that some of the interviewees in our edition this week and last week have told us that their initial intention was to cross to Europe, but they had to stop over in Mauritania for one reason or the other. Also remember that on the Diaspora, we've brought you the report on the situation with Nigerians in Libya, particularly those who have been suffering one form of maltreatment or the other, and indeed some sold as slaves. That is why the government of Nigeria at various levels is working very hard to ensure that this issue of illegal migration is tackled from the root. Now, we caught up with Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki, who told us what Edo State government in particular is doing to stop illegal migration from the route. Here is that interaction.
We have recorded significant progress in both advocacy and subsequently reducing the acts of irregular migration and human trafficking. And as you know, there are two different things. In the case of irregular migration, you just find people who want to just travel outside their domain, or they want to travel abroad to Europe, and they do so irregularly without documents, without the necessary papers. But in the case of human trafficking, people are deceived. People go, you have agents who go into communities and lure on suspecting individuals, particularly young boys and girls, and take them out under all sorts of devices to take them out for either prostitution, slave labor, organ harvesting, or whatever nefarious activities they're involved in. So for us in Edo State, I think we've come to the realization that it's a problem we have to deal with, and we've accepted it's a problem. And acceptance is the first step towards resolving a problem. So as a government, we've accepted it. We decided to do something very drastic about it. We set up an anti-trafficking task force. We also have now domesticated the national law on trafficking in Edo State with more severe terms. So if we find anybody involved in human trafficking, we will apprehend that person, try that person, and jail that person in Edo State. We also have spent a bit of resources and time to try and understand the dimensions of irregular migrations and human trafficking. And we have come up with a comprehensive framework in which we have dimensioned into 4 areas. The first is returnees, those who have been trafficked or those who have migrated irregularly and are being forcefully sent back or want to come back home. What sort of program, what sort of support, what sort of help, what sort of assistance can you render to them? And as a government, we are very empathetic. Don't forget, these are our own, these are our children, these are our relatives. We're quite empathetic. They made a mistake, they took a wrong decision, and it's our responsibility to ensure that they come back home safely and that they're reintegrated and made to live useful lives when they get back home. So we have a very robust program on returnee management, from picking them up from the airplanes when they come in, to documenting them properly, to registering them, to ensure that we screen them medically, and then we begin the social therapy to reintegrate them, and then look for skills and other activities for them to do. In the case of Edo State, I give them a stipend for 90 days to just help them settle down and get their feet before they get a job. And human trafficking has very many ramifications. It's linked to drug trafficking, it's linked to prostitution, it's linked to arms trade. There's so many parts of the ramifications of human trafficking, and it's criminal. And so what we have done is we now have a law which will prosecute traffickers. We're collaborating with federal agencies and authorities to make sure that we have the tools, first, to be able to investigate, track down the traffickers, investigate them, prosecute them. We're also trying to strengthen our legal system, have special courts, special judges who understand the issues of trafficking, and will be able to ensure that traffickers who are apprehended get convicted. And we're also working with the prison authorities and the whole justice administration system to strengthen it so that we can deal and tackle with this challenge and this scourge of human trafficking. We will not, as a state, we cannot tolerate this anymore, apart from the stigma. It's decimating communities. There are some communities where most people have just traveled out. And I mean, there's a school I have somewhere, and you barely find 50 pupils in the school because they're not there. And for those communities, it's really creating an atrophy. They're really draining. It's having real social consequences for us.
Clearly, a lot needs to be done by many stakeholders to ensure that the issue of illegal migration is minimized, if not eliminated. Now, let's talk about our Diasporan of the Week as we find out which Nigerian is doing Nigeria and Nigerians proud out there. Diasporan of the Week is next on the program.
Born 1962, Nigerian-born Judge Chile Ebere Osuji was elected as President of the International Criminal Court at The Hague, Netherlands, for a 3-year term. He has been a judge at the court since March 2012 and was the legal advisor to the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights. Judge Ebere Osuji was born in Anara, Isiala Mbano, Imo State, Nigeria, on 2nd September 1962. He obtained his Bachelor of Laws degree from the University of Calabar, Masters of Laws degree from McGill University, Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and Doctor of Laws degree from the University of Amsterdam, the Netherlands. Ebere Osuji was called to the Nigerian bar in 1986 and practiced briefly before moving to Canada for further studies. After obtaining his Master of Laws degree from McGill in 1991, he worked as a barrister in Canada, having been called to the bar in Ontario and in British Columbia in 1993. From 1997 to 2005, Ebere Osuji worked at the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda as prosecution counsel and senior legal officer to the judges of the tribunal. From 2005 to 2007, he worked in Canada as a barrister and law lecturer. He became the legal advisor to the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Navi Pillay, in 2010 and held a cross-appointment as the Principal Prosecution Appeals Counsel at the Special Court for Sierra Leone in the case of Charles Taylor, the former president of Liberia. He has authored 2 books and numerous law journal articles in international law. From September 2013, Ebere Osuji, alongside other judges, presided over the trial against Deputy President William Ruto of Kenya, who was accused of stoking a wave of killing for political gain after the country's contested 2007 elections. For being the first Nigerian to be elected President of the International Criminal Court and raising the Nigerian flag high at the world stage, Chile Ebere Osuji is our Diasporan of the Week.
Well, it's a subtle fact that Nigerians are always at the top of their game wherever they find themselves in the world. So we congratulate our Diasporan of the Week and continue to urge you to inspire other Nigerians. Now let's give you some tidbits with what is happening with Nigerians in the diaspora. Diaspora News is next on the program.
Another Nigerian, Lawrence Ozumba, has been shot dead in Mpumalanga, South Africa by an unknown gunman. Ozumba's killer was said to have entered his compound and requested to see him, after which the Nigerian was shot 6 times. He died immediately. The Consulate General Nigerian High Commission in South Africa condemned the incident and asked South African authorities to unravel the mystery behind the dastardly act. He urged the police and other relevant agencies to apprehend the assailant and bring him to justice. The Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission says it is taking more drastic measures to tackle abscondment by pilgrims in the Holy Land. While receiving the report of a security committee, Executive Secretary of the Commission, Reverend Tor Uja, said 100 Christian pilgrims absconded during the 2017 pilgrimage to Israel. He urged Nigerians to have faith in their country and only seek legal migration rather than using pilgrimage as a cover to leave the country. Nigerian ambassador to the Republic of Sao Tome, Queen Wolu, has died at her duty post. A career diplomat appointed in 2017, the late diplomat had been in the Foreign Service for over 30 years. President Muhammadu Buhari has commiserated with the family of the deceased and the Nigerian diplomatic community.
Now, Diaspora News brings us to the end of the program for this week. We thank you so much for sharing your time with us, and we urge you to join us next time for another edition as we look at Nigerians living and working abroad. On behalf of the rest of the team, my name is Makut Simon Macham. Again, saying thank you and see you next time.